Hello, welcome back to UB episode number 20. We are ending the
I think you're
year.
just making up these numbers, man.
I mean, at this point, I can't believe we've made it through two episodes. And here we are on episode 20. This is the last one of the
It's all
year,
grown up,
boys.
almost can drink.
Yeah.
You can almost drink. Look
Almost
at that.
one more episode.
You know we're all sneaking it under the counter.
So this is an exciting one. We got it's the last one of the year. Like I said, hope everyone had a nice Christmas. We got New Year's coming up here in a couple days. You guys have any big plans? Chrono, you have any fest to go to?
Oh man, no fest left, sadly. No plans other than just preparing for the sector.
Yeah, I am doing absolutely nothing on New Year's. I'll be in bed by 9 if I'm lucky. Can't wait for that. Tyler, you're the big party animal. What are you doing?
Not the biggest party animal, but I am indeed actually doing stuff for New Year's. I'm going to be going up to Scranton, Pennsylvania, to go hang out with a bunch of friends and just get drunk.
Hang out with
Is that where the
Michael
office
Scott?
was?
Yeah, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
What?
Tell him what's
No, I
up.
have a friend that lives over there that does a whole bunch of chef jobs, and so it's easier for us
Nice.
to go to him than for him to
Is
come
it-
down.
In paper sales or?
No.
Oh, he works
Works
at
for
Dunder
restaurant.
Mifflin. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Interestingly enough.
Is it
works at
Jim
Dunder
Halpert?
Mifflin.
Or what are we
Yeah.
talking here?
And back with us once again, who is basically a regular at this point. We have Mickey. What's up, Mickey?
Yo,
You are
not much. My past weekend was very busy. So this upcoming weekend, I don't plan on doing anything if I can afford to.
perfect. And you're
Not
coming
gonna
back
cast any big ships or?
right from a
No,
yeah,
not anymore.
right from a PQ, right? You played Piet for some
Yes.
unknown reason. You decided to drive 4 hours or so, 5 hours just to play Piet. I assume it was Ian that talked you
Yeah.
into that somehow.
I blame Ian.
Yeah.
I am what I
Yep.
am.
Yeah, I blame Ian and Tyler.
I
But it was
I
a
just
good
can't
trip.
believe someone
3
would
out
actually,
of the 4 people in the car made top 8.
why would they let you do that? Like, as a friend, if you would have told me a few days before, I just would have been like, Mickey, don't do it.
Look, he got his guaranteed 15 points with Pia. He's good for that.
I mean, is it guaranteed though? He did lose round
He has to
2.
go for 15
That's
points, and
hilarious
that's
thing.
about it.
This will get you 15
Yeah.
points,
Yeah.
no matter what.
I mean, and it did.
It did do that.
It got you into the top
It
8
did.
where you had lost to, I believe, Akira, right?
Brad. Yeah. My buddy Brad, who drove us up. I'm Kira.
Mickey, I'm gonna be honest. I watched your games, and I was watching that
Mhm.
game 3, and I turned it off. I said,
Mhm.
"Well, Mickey's got like 3 palps return his hand. He can't lose this. There's no way this game gets lost. He's way ahead. Boom, boom, boom. Shut it off." Then Justin sends me a message on our Teams chat of you ripping up your Piet. I was like, "Wait, what happened?"
This
Who
shit
was
was so
watching that?
My opening hand that game was abysmal. It did the Piet thing that happens. Todd, you've talked about it once at tournament where opening hand was 2 big devs and an OB and a craving power and something else and just had no plays until turn 3.
Yeah, no ramps.
So
Yeah.
it happens. But yeah.
I mean, it was close. You still almost got there. I think that you said that
Yep.
your first invisible hand bottomed both planetary bombardments, which is super
Yes.
rough.
So my first invisible hand also bottomed 7 important cards. And so I was prioritizing attacking with the invisible hand over letting units die just to try and
Just to
get those back up to
recycle
the top of my deck.
it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the one
Yeah.
disappointing about the invisible hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great card, but cards like that,
Yeah.
I mean, I see it all the time with things like U-Wing. It's like so
Yep.
many times it's like you always get something good, but then you bottom everything else you want. It's like, oh, so frustrating. But hey, it was a good run.
Yeah.
Got your 15
Yep.
points. What are you up to now? Like 200 or so?
315.
315, dude. He's crushing it.
315. Damn.
Yep. This is the first time I've lost in a PQ top 8 in almost a year. I've been when I get to the top 8, I've been doing real well the past
Yeah.
couple events. So I
That's
was bound to lose one of them eventually.
Yeah. So let's talk about
Yeah.
PQs overall, because I think we haven't had an episode since PQ started, or maybe just the first week. But this is week number 4, I believe, of PQs, the one that we just had. If you can count it, there's only one PQ in the U.S. because of the holidays, which is the one that Mickey played in. Prior to that, we had 3 weeks, I believe, of just various PQs. Wu won 3 of them with Yoda. I've seen Yoda win several more. Do you guys think Yoda's the deck to beat right now, or do you think there's, maybe something else like a Han 2 or Kira that's kind of sneaking up? Tyler, I'll start with you for this. What do you think about the PQ so far?
I enjoyed. I played the 4 from the last 4 weeks straight. I missed top 8 in one of them to a very, very specific match against a Yoda Red, who you're my only hope to Luke on 5, into playing a 2-drop. Then you're my only hope. Rivals fall on my Anakin. I was like, all right, well, guess I'm not making this top 8. But no, I do believe that Yoda is the deck to beat. I do believe that everyone is probably going to continue for the foreseeable future when we get to sectors, prepare for Yoda. I don't think anything really has come out. No one's really tested kind of the deck that beats it. They're just all playing the other decks that can win PQs. This feels like we're we have a best deck. I do think that Yoda is actually the best deck, but I do think that Han Solo, Anakin, Han 2, all these other decks like Piet sometimes are reasonable decks to play. It's just they don't necessarily just slam the Yoda matchup. And so you're really hoping that you either get lucky during the games or that it gets knocked out. Unfortunately for me, Ophir did not get knocked out in any of the tournaments I played with him. So I always had to deal with that later on. But
yeah, I don't think he's lost a match in a PQ. Maybe
no.
even a game in his last 3 PQs.
Oh no, he lost the game.
Okay.
I don't think he lost.
He lost a single game. It was in the third set of PQs. But the first 2, I think, were all
every
undefeated. It's
PQ's
crazy.
been either 4-0, 5-0, and then just double draw, and it's just it's just insane. This run that he's on with Yoda. I think Yoda's the best deck too. I personally don't love the meta right now. I mean, I feel like we say this every set where we get into the second or third month of or in this case, I guess it's the second month of the set, and it's we're tired of it. It's always one or two decks that kind of dominate, and it's just I'm so over this format. So I can't wait for a rotation. CJ, what do you think about the PQ so far?
Yeah, a couple things. I don't think Yoda's the best deck. I think Yoda's a very powerful deck. I think Ophir is the best player in the world, and so you give him whatever, he's going to win those PQs. The second thing, I think there's a card that's the best card, and that's Bo-Katan. I think Bo-Katan might be the best card we have right now in the meta that's kind of played out. I do disagree with Tyler. I do think there are plenty of decks that give Yoda a decent matchup. Yes, you can't play the grindy green stuff into it. That will not work. But there are definitely matchups that you can play into it. I do think when we look at Phoenix, we're not going to see as much Yoda as you think, although an extremely powerful deck. Most people I've seen try to play that deck are pretty bad with it. I know obviously Ophir plays it really well. A couple of my other teammates play it well. There's plenty of people in the Euros that play it well. A lot of people can play it, but it's not an easy deck to pick up and play. It's much like any of the blue-green mid-range we've seen, right? It's very grindy. You have to make a lot of decisions, and you got to make the right ones, right? The margins are pretty thin. When I look at the PQ meta as a whole right now, I think it's playing out the way I would expect it to. I do, and what I don't quite understand yet is we haven't seen quite as much aggro as I would expect, and I'm not talking about space aggro, and that's kind of stuff that we kind of see bubble up. I do think there's some room for the Han 2 ECL and a few other ECL decks on the aggro side to come into play. We just haven't. We've seen them win a lot, their actual stats are really good, but we haven't seen them come up in the numbers that I would expect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll
Do
be
you
interested
think
to see.
that Green Hero is basically a must play right now, or do you?
Oh yeah. Yes. Okay. That's a better statement than Yoda's best deck. Green Hero is the best. That I will get behind, no question.
Yeah,
Green Hero is the best.
which makes sense then that Yoda is doing very well because it kind of is
good.
probably the best Green Hero deck and farms the other Green Hero decks. So then
Mhm.
you have things like Hantu Blue and Hantu maybe like ECL that can kind of come in and get under Yoda. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Mhm.
Mickey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we are kind of entering a bit of a triangle meta where I think Contu ECL is on the rise, and I think
Is
it.
that a play on words? Triangle meta? Is that big
Yeah, only
triangles?
play
Oh,
Piet.
Piet.
Piet's dead.
Yep.
Piet is dead. Get him out of
Play
here.
big chips.
I think Hantu ECL beats Yoda. I think Yoda beats Anakin, and I think Anakin beats Hantu. And so we are entering this like green hero triangle of these 3 green hero decks that are kind of built to beat each other. And then you have these kind of ancillary things like the Piet, like these blue green villain decks. So that's kind of the first major thing is like we have sort of a cyclical meta. It just feels like it's not as cyclical since they're all playing like 80% the same cards. It's just like flavor to taste at that point. The other thing is, at least at the PQ I was at, we saw a big rise in Han2. One is just locally, I know the players there like Han2 Blue, but there was also a lot of Hantu ECL hovering around. And I think part of it is Green Hero is really suffocating Tarkin Town decks. And without Tarkin Town in the meta, Hantu gets to feast. And so I wonder if someone or some team can find a Tarkin Town deck that like maybe isn't super favored into all the Green Hero decks, but it has like a palatable matchup into Yoda or into Anakin, if that starts to rise up, because I expect to see Hantu start to emerge even more without Tarkin Town in the meta.
Yeah, that sounds like a job for a BN because you're the Tarkentown guy. Like
We do like Tarkentown.
our team, no one really likes Tarkentown other than Ophir. So it's like, and he's not playing it right now.
No, no, no.
Ian, what do you think overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we saw happen was an arms race that's kind of concluded, right? Like post Seattle, the first big event of this set, we saw Green Hero dominate with the McClunky Anakin Data Vault deck, and then as a reaction to that, it was an arms race with Green Hero decks of like who could go bigger. And it turns out that you just slam 3 Bo-Katans in a 7 deploy leader that has a removal on a stick when you flip it with heal. Uh, is probably the top of the arms race, right? Like you can't really go bigger than Yoda from a Green Hero perspective. Like yeah, Avar costs more and has a bigger stat line, but doesn't kill something when she comes out. I don't think that that's really where you're going from there. And I think that kind of just like it if we're in a spot in the meta where you need to do the arms race, then you should play Yoda. It if it comes down where like Anakin falls out of favor because Yoda's everywhere, then other decks like Hantu ECL can come back into the meta, which I think we're having a hard time into the Anakin deck. I think most aggro decks were having a hard time into the Anakin deck because it turns the corner so fast, right? Like the Anakin ability when it flips, having a bunch of health or having a bunch of damage on it with overwhelm, being able to like close out a close game really fast. Like that's why that Anakin deck was so good, and it just had insane value, right? So it has the bounty hunter's quarry to get more guys, it has the Cobb Vanth to get more guys, and you're just always trading up. So you were doing this thing where like you're this mid-range deck that was feasting on all these aggro decks, and you had a good game into control because you had so much value. And then the Yoda deck comes in over top of it, basically does the same thing, but takes out the red cards for some blue value cards like Luke and Bo-Katan, which in that mirror fight, like it's just whoever is bigger is going to win. um and so we're at the point right now where it's whoever is the biggest is going to win, but like that might not always be the case, right? Because like aggro should respond to that in a natural cycle. My problem is that, so to me, I think Yoda is the best deck. I think that the problem with Yoda is the same thing that we have with most ramp decks. When that deck double ramps like resupply and a resupply carrier, it seems almost nigh unbeatable. But when it doesn't do those things, you see the like holes in the strategy, and you can try to have an avenue of getting in there and aggroing it down. But like I said, it's a ramp deck, so it's just like and it's data vault, so the consistency of hitting the ramp pieces isn't even really there. Obviously, you have the Yoda filter, which helps, but it's not, at least from my perspective, it hasn't been as consistent as I expected it to be after seeing Ophir like crush with it, which obviously just hats off to Ophir for being able to crush with that deck. Not saying it's not an inconsistent deck. I think it's very, very consistent. But against the aggro decks, like you literally cannot screw up
Yeah, you
your
can't miss.
curve,
Yeah.
and you really need to be able to apply pressure, have the sentinels when you need them, and be able to survive to the flip. And if you do stumble, then that's when those aggro decks get under you. So it'll be interesting to see. I know I've tried I've tried so many different strategies against it. I think one of the problems that I have is that naturally you would think that space decks would be good into that deck. But Blue Leader is just such an efficient card.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that,
That's
I
my
think
biggest
that card
complaint.
solely has been such a house against the aggro decks. And I think that's like one of my biggest problems with the design of these green hero cards is like it wouldn't be so much of a problem if it's just, oh, like these cards are all really value heavy and all of this stuff, but like the efficiency that you see on these green hero cards, you just don't see that in other colors. Outside of Karis Nemec, I think we really just don't see that type of value, and that's like what the aggro decks need, right? Because the aggro decks need resilient threats that can like keep hitting you over and over again and apply pressure. But when you have like, oh, I'm gonna have a strategy where I play 2/1 drops spaceships on turn one, and your opponent responds with a blue leader that survives and gets to clean up the other one,
Yeah.
like you're just kind of so far behind. And then not only that, they then get to sideboard into things like direct hit
Yeah.
or hyperspace
Disaster.
disaster, right?
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
they can, you're my only hope out early. Like
Yeah.
it's that kind of like ability for the Yoda deck to be able to adapt post board, which you're playing more post board games than you are like game ones, right? So
Yeah.
that's the part that I've been struggling with is like I can kind of find a deck that's pretty good game one, but like if they have a good sideboard, which I mean, it's pretty obvious to put these kind of cards in the sideboard of a deck that is like kind of weak to space outside of Blue Leader and like Bright Hopes, right? um, that it becomes like a really frustrating way to try to attack the meta. Like I've been
Yeah.
really struggling trying to find something that can consistently compete. And not only that, it's like, okay, if I beat Yoda, let's say I find a deck that beats Yoda, does that deck beat the Anakin deck or the Han 2 deck? Like then you have these other
Yeah.
really strong green hero decks that are attacking in a different way. And it seems really hard to be able to attack both of those or all three of them
Yeah. It's a
and have a
weird
good
meta.
shot. And not
I-
also play the same cards,
I-
because then you're just playing the same deck.
I think you did nail it in that the way to attack the Yoda is to lean into its inconsistencies from the actual aggro pressure side. That's why like cards like Cham and Han 2 are so good into Yoda,
Yeah.
because they have to respect it or they get blown out early. So they can double ramp, but they have to play around it, right? They have to kind of dirtle and maybe skip a turn they would have ramped to do something else just to make it awkward for you. And that's when you can just continue to pressure like Ogdo and Phantom in the space arena, whatever you got, right? To get to the point where you're maybe close to parity on resources, if not up because you have Han's ability, and then you can take advantage. That's
Yeah.
a success. I found I think aggro decks need to do the same thing. I think we do, like if aggro is going to attack it, to your point, I think you have to like lean into what the deck's doing, right? So maybe we go back to Sabine unit, right, and wing leader and some of the other things that are tricky for it to deal with.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been exploring different avenues as well, like alongside Ian, of the natural place to go is space, just because like blue green hero especially, but just green hero has such good sentinels. Like you have village protectors, you have Typho,
Yeah.
you have Obi-Wan unit if you want it.
In space, it's
Yeah,
like Bright Hope. It never
it's
stops. Captain
there's
Rex,
no
like it's just
that's why like I think Piet has been, that's why I played it. I thought it was a good meta call. Ophir made a great video today about a lot of this stuff as well, but he in that video classified Han 1 green as an aggro deck, and I think in the same way Han 1 green is an aggro deck, Piet's just an aggro deck. It's aggressively like cheating on resources, playing these big bombs and trying to kill you in 2 turns.
yeah.
it plays a little bit more mid-rangey and has a bit more board control, but like those are the kinds of strategies that can kind of get over this Yoda data vault and data vault, the green hero stuff in general, is you just overwhelm them way too fast before they can get their foot set. But that can be inconsistent.
Internally, we call Piet the Primeval Titan deck. That's what it is.
Yeah.
From
exactly
Magic,
what
it's
it is.
it's the red green stompy.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's green red monsters, yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah. I mean,
It's almost identical archetype. Like,
Yeah.
it's so fun.
I
agree
agree.
with all that. I have a PQ this weekend on Sunday. It's my local store in West Virginia. I don't know what I'm gonna play yet. It might just be Ray or Yoda, but the meta there is usually kind of weird. It'll skew more towards like Piet and like hard control nonsense. So I just need to figure out what to play. It might just be Yoda.
The other frustrating thing is like when you're not like preparing for PQs is one thing. Like you like as a player who are going to a PQ that like maybe you've been to that store, you kind of know the meta. Like it's easier to prepare for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing that's going to be happening for the Arizona sector is like even if we think Yoda's the best deck, it's going to be like what 12%.
Yeah,
of the
this isn't
meta.
Django, right? It's not. This isn't Denver. You're gonna be like,
Even if it was Django was still like what 24%. Like it was like some
I mean, that was a lot.
crazy.
But
But that's a crazy low number for a de facto tier 0 deck,
Agreed,
right?
yeah.
Like that's just how this game is for these major events.
What we
and
need
we'll see. Like a bunch
honestly is what we need is we just need a yellow villain deck to exist. Like that would kind of like I think change
the
things.
problem is
we
okay,
had that.
so
We had that, John.
I've been trying to
like,
go through
exactly.
and like figure out how to build a yellow villain deck again, and like I think the problem is that tempo isn't the answer anymore.
Yeah,
Like
true.
the yellow villain decks were really good at having tempo plays where like good a big thing or like a healer, you waylay their sentinel or whatever, and it's just those type of tempo plays right now just don't match the insulary value that all of these green hero cards have.
Yeah,
you just can't beat it.
I mean, it's also true that like we don't have a way to naturally fit some of these tempo cards into like play lines, right? Like you think about old school Boba, like the mono yellow one, you were waylaying, untapping a resource, playing a 2-drop. Like you were doing these things that just kept pressuring, kept doing things. What do you waylay and do nothing now? Like there's you know what I mean? Like there's no natural early.
Dude, I swear I don't even think Boba Green would be good right now. Like I think
Boba's armor is pretty crazy, man.
I think the green hero decks would just shit on it though. They're all playing like 2 rivals falls.
There's a good chance. The bigger issue with yellow villainy, and we're gonna talk about it, I'm gonna say it later, but like all these other decks are talking about, all the units, the whole curve, early curve, all the cards are just so strong right now. And the early curve for yellow villainy is terrible.
It's Aura Singh, and that's
best,
it.
Wait, I was gonna
like,
say who's the best unit. Aura Singh's like the best unit in the game. Like
that's like one copy though. Like you have nothing.
Card.
I'm excited for the 2/4 to come up. In the next set, but like everything's gonna like move at that point. But like a 2/4 vanilla do nothing is a good thing for those colors, which is the craziest. And we have stuff like Karis that is just insane.
What are you talking about? You got General Grievous, dude. He's a 3/3. He's got hidden.
Yeah, 3/3.
Yeah,
Don't worry about the other decks on that card.
Yeah, Grievous is the problem there because like that was the chance, right? That was our hope.
The issue with all the cards, from like Yellow Villainy right now is they were way too synergized with the leaders of the time. They synergized a lot with Boba and they synergized a lot with Django. And with the 2 leaders gone,
and with Cad,
they don't do anything. Yeah,
Cad's
still like there, but
yeah.
How much of that was the yellow villain cards being good, and how much of that was just the leaders being broken, though? Like
exactly,
it was the leaders being broken.
Like Django was just the leader being broken, and I think Boba too. Cad
all the cards though set up the leaders,
right?
Like Cad is
Boba was great, but Cantina Bouncer bouncing a unit or like waylay into a thing like it helped on the actual ability leader.
The easiest thing to think about is villain yellow used to play like shoot first, right? Why did it play shoot first? Because Boba could play that for free. Right, so then your 2/2 shielded unit's actually a monster, right? Because for free you just traded into whatever you want and didn't even lose a shield.
Yeah,
those are the cards they made for the game.
I get it,
and now it's like,
hopefully after rotation we'll have some cool yellow things to do. But let's talk about the year as a whole. Some high points, low points, things that they can work on. For me personally, like some of the high points is I think we can all agree that Worlds was probably the high point of the whole year. The event was run very, very well. I I mean, I don't want to say it this way, but there's probably a lot of low points. Like, I mean, overall, like the first sector or two, like Denver was a mess. You know that
Denver's definitely the low point for me.
yeah, there's a lot of things that they could learn
Kind
overall.
of crazy that Denver was this year.
Yeah.
Feels so long ago.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy to think
Yeah.
When I
about.
saw
That
like
means
the
that
this
every
episode
sector
yearly
and
wrap up,
regional-
I was doing the math in my head. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, Denver was like set 4. Oh,
Yeah.
that's this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Every
that was
single sector and
March.
regional
Yeah.
was this year.
Right. That was March, right? Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, March.
that's crazy.
We went from
But-
Seattle into that.
But for me personally, like my highlight of the whole year was just, you know, meeting new people, making new friends. Like it was just a great year
Mhm.
overall for me. All the events were a blast. I mean, even if the like event as a whole wasn't run great, it was still always a great time. So I'm really looking forward to Arizona and Milwaukee, and just kind of keep that going. CJ, what about you? What are some highs and lows for you this year?
Yeah, I think highs for me, the World Championship was unbelievable, right? You could tell the money they put into it. The stage was so cool. So sad I didn't get on stream. Played so bad in that tournament, which stunk.
Same.
But I think back, like that time was awesome. Seeing everyone hanging out, like loved my time there. I think on a low side of things, they did drop the ball a lot of times. I'm kind of just waiting for them to pick it back up for some of the stuff. So I'm hoping that happens. Like if I think back at Worlds, right, and I'm thinking in my head, like what comes to my mind, I'm thinking all the cool times I had, all the people I got to meet, the games I got to play, the cool prizes that I got, right? I'm thinking like, oh man, those Anakins I got. And then on the lows, I'm like, oh, and then they reprinted Anakin promo like 8 different ways over
17
the
more
course of the
times.
year.
Yeah.
So my cool prize is like what, $5? Went from like an $80 card to like $5.
No,
Sweet.
that's a good
Really
point. Is
cool.
that like
Like
they're this close. They're this close.
that's the thing. This close
on prizing. And as soon as they like almost reach the promised land, it's like they take like 5 steps back by making the same
but-
promos like
but
5 different ways. And
that
it's just like
that's
why?
exactly my point. My low is that we keep taking like 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And if you go back and listen to our podcast, like the first episode, we talk about that, and everyone like we were all positive, like, oh, but they'll get it. But like it's just been a reoccurring thing, one thing after
Yeah.
another, after another, after another. And I don't know what it is. I think there's some kind of disconnect in FFG behind like the development of the game and the organized play. There's some gap there that they're not like, I don't know if they need to hire someone in the middle to like help connect the two, but there is just a big disconnect, right? Like even when you go to these big events, like I feel like in the first couple, a lot of developers and other people went to them and do all this, and like some of the ones they just stopped going, and it's just like is it because they don't want to see what this is like? I know there's a couple metas in the past, but like that's a lot to learn from to see what people
I don't
are liking.
think so.
That's fun.
From what I understand, the devs don't typically go to the events. I mean, I think they should. You know,
that
I
they
think
should.
they
to your
did. They
point.
did at first
They did it first,
because
yeah.
there wasn't really a policy set, and then I'm pretty sure they changed the policy to kind of remove the devs from, I don't know, random whack jobs probably going
I
up to
don't
them and
think it's so
complaining.
much of a policy issue. I think that they just stopped budgeting like the devs to go, and instead
that, yeah.
they just send like the TO people, you know, people from the you know the organized play side, because Ryan Miles, I think we talked to him, and you know, I don't think that he's gone to, you know, Arizona. It's probably just not in their budget, but I think he said he's gone to Milwaukee, and I think that we should expect to see most of the devs at Milwaukee because it's kind of close, you know, for them. So, Mickey, what
Also
you
a regional event, so it's like a bigger.
Yeah. I'm feeling so the good thing is in my mind, the good heavily outweighs the bad. Like I can think of so many good memories and like so few bad ones. So overall, very positive on two highlights. We mentioned Worlds, also 3v3 at Seattle. Always like some of the most intense, most fun games.
Yeah, we had 2 of those this year.
So,
Yeah,
we've
that's
had 2. Like, and hoping to get some more in the future. Just traveling a bunch, seeing a bunch of PQs, both like meeting new people and making new friends, not only like across the country, but even just locally, like finding a new local scene, new card players, and making long lasting connections there of people like you would never hang out with if it wasn't for these silly little Star Wars cards. That's really awesome. um and building those connections was awesome, and a lot of the positive memories have to do around the community, which I think is really telling and really like a positive for the community, is that like everybody's been so positive and so friendly. I have like maybe one or two people I've met through Stu that I've been like, I'm not so sure, and I've met a lot of people, so that's big for me. I also FFG, at least from like a design perspective, has felt pretty responsive. Like maybe a little bit slower than I would like, and maybe a little bit more conservative than I'd like. But basically, every time there's been a problem, whether it be Django or Boba or DJ or Force Throw, they've responded in kind. And like it usually takes them a little bit, and maybe they don't go as far as we'd like, but FFG has started to listen from a design side, and like is taking in feedback, and like if you touch base with some of these people, they're pretty open and talk, like they won't tell you the secrets or anything, but they'll be like, yep, we're talking about these things, and we wanted to know that your feedback is heard. And so that's a big upside for me. But you kind of pinned it on the downsides of like these events are awesome, but they could be even better if they were just like ran a little bit better and had better prize walls and all of that. And so, yeah, but overall, I'd say a huge positive year for Swoo, and
Yeah,
I'm looking
the
forward.
the actual like events as a whole, I don't think they're really run poorly from like a
No,
TO side. It's just, but what you said kind of struck with me is that like they need to do better on like the like logistics part of it, right? Like
yes, yeah,
better prize wall stuff, better what
as well as
whatever
like
side
Make sure your
events like
items actually ship to the location.
the
yeah.
biggest downside just hit me. It was like we had 6 weeks of notification for the first round of sectors and
Yeah.
regionals for the set five.
Then they
Like
changed
that,
like the prize wall structure. Like on
yeah,
day two, people like had already left. Like Denver as a whole was just a mess. Like that
yeah.
was like the worst tournament
Their
they've run.
communication there could definitely use some improvement.
Yeah, but then like they got better for the one in Richmond, the one
Hmm.
in Minnesota was better. Worlds was a blast, obviously,
Yeah.
and then now they're just kind of trying to keep that, going. But I did want to call out. You mentioned every band card except for TDR, so clearly TDR is not the problem. So we can bring
I
that
blanked TDR from my
we
mind. I
can bring
hate that
that one
card so
back.
much. I hate that card so much. Get it out.
Ian, what are your highs and lows from the past year?
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy year. This game I think has grown from like a new TCG to like an actually established TCG that like runs a lot of events. I mean, it's crazy. Like all of those events, like from start to finish, those major events, all were this year, and you can see the growth that they've had and how they've run them from Denver to now, which I think is obviously a positive. I mean, Worlds was easily the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of. I obviously ran hot and did well, so that was icing on the cake. But like just one of the coolest experiences ever. Um, the whole community has been great. I've met so many people. Um, like this show happening from like us joking around into making it happen now for 20 episodes. Like that's kind of crazy, right? When did we start in like
I
May or
I think it
June or
was
something
right
like that?
after the Minnesota regional, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. So probably around May,
yeah,
maybe it was April. I don't know, but
yeah.
yeah, it was
May
like
sounds
right
right.
around the time I think I had just moved down to Alabama, which is crazy. I moved to Alabama because of this game, because of people I met from this game, right? Like that's like my entire life has changed because of this game. So I'm super grateful and just really excited about what the future has in store. I think rotation is going to be so amazing for this game. I think a lot of people are excited about it. I think a lot of people haven't experienced rotation in a card game before, so I'm excited to see how the community reacts. I actually think rotation is usually the time where you get the most new players, because it's
Yeah,
an easy point for them to come in because there's less sets of cards that they have to acquire
yeah.
to be
Fewer
able to be
hurdles.
competitive,
Yeah,
right? So I'm hoping that there's a big increase in players. Not that we were like struggling for players or anything like that, but there's always going to be lulls, and right now it's the holidays, so like maybe that also affects stuff. But um, yeah, I mean, all in all, it's just to me it was almost all highs, a couple lows, like you said, with some events that weren't really ran great, but like just the presence of everyone and like the I love competing, and like going and competing was so much fun that like you kind of blank out the bad parts. So it's
Yeah.
like yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, man, like I don't know. I love playing this game, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what the future has in store.
Yeah. Same. I think we can all speak to that. Tyler, what about you?
Yeah, you know, I get to sit in the last spot, so all my points have been sadly stolen from me. But lowest point of the year was by far Denver for me. I just felt like I flew out literally the night like that night of that tournament. Cause I was like, I did not want to be there for another day doing like side events or thing. I took a red eye back, and I'll be glad that nothing the rest of this game has come close to that. You know, everything's been on the up and up. You know, I'm super glad that even though they could do better, they do a whole lot better. They haven't plummeted into the ground. We're still here. We're still playing. We're still enjoying the game. You know, the future looks bright. I'm just glad for that. Of course, the high point of the year has to be Galactics. It was definitely so much fun. I cannot wait for the coming year. Get to go to Vegas the second time in my life. And then I do enjoy this podcast. I think that was the other, high point that Ian got to take from me. But I think just, I was like, all right, I'm on the end. I'm going to make my, get the sappy point. But no, I do generally enjoy the fact that we created this podcast, the 20 episodes we've been on. I love the banter, every week, except the one that I wasn't on. But I love the community, love the game. This game just keeps getting better and better.
I think everyone's missed at least one. I mean,
one episode.
I haven't naturally. I've been here every week, but I think everyone.
It's fine.
Else
Mickey's gonna replace you one week.
Yeah,
and he'll do the whole cycle.
I gotta do the try. I gotta fit every spot.
Yeah, no, but that's you guys all touched on all the big points. Ian mentioned rotation, and I totally agree. I think that it's going to be really great for the game. I think set 7 previews start in just a few weeks. I think January 12th is the first week of that. So I'm pumped to start seeing the cards. I hope the set's great and it really brings new players to the game. So
it's going to be really hard to evaluate cards because you're so
I was
used
saying
to
that earlier, yeah, when we were talking about our preview cards because we're getting ready to make that episode here in just a few weeks. It's like guys, I don't really know how to evaluate this stuff anymore because
every 6 drop I look at's going to be different with
yeah,
ECL.
Exactly. And like without resupply, that we know of, it's like what do we, can't ramp to 5 and 6 drops anymore. So is it just, I don't know. We'll have to see. That's something, we could talk about later. So we'll move into the next topic here, which is our year 3 wish list. So year 3 obviously kicks off in March when set 7 drops. That'll be the 3rd year of the game. It's going to be a really big year for the card game. Most card games that I've played in the past, like they either live or die in year 3. So let's talk about what we want to see. I'll let Mickey go last since we talked about this in a separate chat.
Cool.
Ian, I'll let you start with this. What do you want to see?
Sure, man. So one of the things that I'm really enjoying with these previews so far is the double aspect, like the yellow red cards or blue red cards. I think that was a design space that needed to be explored. It seemed very obvious that the game was created to have those type of cards in them. We're not seeing them until set 7. Maybe that was good strategically. Personally, I think they could have done it sooner. I don't think like, oh, we don't want to be too complex out of the gate or anything like that. Like, be complex. It's fine. Like I think we've on this podcast have asked them to be more complex with their design. And I think cards that, they have 2 aspect colors and then they're asking you to have a 3rd aspect to have an extra effect. Like those are cards that scream like build around me, like try to get out an out of aspect card early, like figure out a way to do it. Like those are cool things that I think the game system that they've created is built around these pillars, these aspect pillars, and being able to play around with how those come out and getting to 3 aspects and things like that, like that's a really, really cool way to try to push the design space. And I'm really excited for that stuff. What I really am hoping, and maybe they don't do it in this set since it's like the first set with these double aspect kind of cards, but I'm hoping that we get a cycle similar to Cunning, Vigilance, Command, and Aggression for the double aspect combos. So instead of those 4, right, where it was double yellow, double blue, double green, double red, it would be the 6 different aspects of like blue, yellow, blue, red, blue, green, so on and so forth. And I hope that they come up with like a cool name for them, so that like kind of similar to how they have the names for the aspect symbols, that we would have names for these double aspect combos. So when I'm playing my blue green hero deck, I don't have to call it blue green hero. I can call it like, I don't know, virtue or whatever name they come up with,
I
like
got it.
some like one of my favorite things, and I think a lot of Magic players really had they like kind of saw themselves in the cards is the guilds of Ravnica, right? When that first Ravnica set came out in like what 2006 or whatever it was, uh, they came up with these guilds that were different color combos, right? Black, green, yada yada, so on and so forth. And they all had these names and they had an identity, and it let like a player feel like, oh, like I'm such a Golgari mage, or whatever. Like I want those yellow green villainy players to be able to like have their Gryffindor house that they can call whatever naming convention that they're going to use. Like that's something that I think this game is in desperate need for, is like more ways for the community to like feel seen and like in the cards themselves. So I'm hoping for something like that. There's a lot of different ways they could do it. I think I was talking with Chrono about it, and he suggested like having a cycle of like either uncommons or even legendaries where like their subtitle uses the name of the whatever color combo. So like, like if it's like Prudence or something, it'd be like Luke Prudent Master or something cool like that. Like there's so many ways that they could tie this in with like the different cards that they have. I think it would be a really cool thing.
Yeah, man, I would be pumped to see like
Genius idea.
a multicolor Luke. Like that'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
just make it a legendary. Sell
Yeah,
packs.
because you can really
let's
push the
go.
power level too. Like I
Yeah,
tell you what,
exactly.
I have been really
Cool ass
pumped to
promo.
see like the cards that we've seen already, like the Zeb and the Chopper. But let me tell you, I am not happy that Hera is rotating.
Hey, don't take my point.
Yeah.
Stop talking. Taking my point.
Bro,
I'm
it's like
going on a
you're
Hera
making
rant.
these
You're about
now?
to stealing it from me.
Anyway,
I'm
Bro,
about to take-
Hera, the eternal
Yeah.
champion, dude.
Oh, man.
Tyler, go ahead.
All right. So when we prepared for this question, I went around to my teammates and asked them what their possible miracle case cards. Unfortunately, a lot of them dropped the ball and no one really gave me any things. But one person, recent Herald of Fame for the Obi-Wan Green Forest deck, Lewis, or otherwise known as Dahak, he gave me his ideas of things that he would like to see, and a lot of mechanics and cards that play with our discard, where actual value of discard and not just seeing where it be getting fatigued out and for stuff to get milled out for like heart control. It's like 2 versions of this where you pay a 3 cost 3/5 on attack, you discard the top card of your deck. Not an optional trigger, it's a force trigger. If you have some amount of cards in your discard pile, you just gave me like 4, but it's probably more. The unit gains rate 2. So it, embellishes and uses the discard fact and actually trying to put cards into your discard, not just some random thing to actually benefit itself. More complex and different ways to play the game. Another, the spicier one and my intrigued one was a 2-cost event, draw 2 cards, put 1 into your discard pile. If you have at least 6 cards in your discard pile, draw 2 more cards. So just like a turbo draw card.
Sick. Is it red, dude? Let me play aggressive negotiations with that bad boy.
He put green villainy as the color, the aspects for it, but all of these are the things, and you can have some crazy stuff happen with it.
Yeah, so Magic has a mechanic called threshold, where it's like once you have like 7 cards in your discard pile, you turn on certain effects. Like it'd be really cool to see Star Wars do things like that, or something like if you have 4 different aspects in your discard pile,
Oh, you
do
give me a
X,
nickel
Y, Z.
monkey,
Oh,
I'll
God,
lose my
yeah.
mind. I will
Yeah.
lose my mind.
Like, it's just like these are the kind of things that we've been begging to see since like
Yeah.
the second year of the game. Like,
Mhm.
I'll give them the first year, right? Like, be basic, build your game, it's fine, right? But once you get into the second year, I'm like, okay, guys, let's start pushing the envelope. Let's do this, and like they just didn't, right? It was just a lot of the same stuff.
I think Pilot was their
Yeah,
pushing of like
maybe,
bending the design space.
but like
I just think it was
it
like a total
it
miss
wasn't like
from a lot of different
yeah,
ways.
piloting wasn't like interesting though. I mean, maybe other people
It,
love it, but like to me, it wasn't that interesting. It was really
it's just more
basic.
stats, and the game is all
Right.
about stats from the fundamental
Like
level.
with
Yeah.
the multicolor cards, like we know because we've played games that have multicolor cards, it's like you could do so much. Like the space for design there is limitless. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really hope for limited that they have the limited format revolve around like a cycle of uncommons in each
Yeah.
of the color pairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
that'd be
Ravnica.
cool.
Signpost
exactly.
uncommons, baby.
Yeah, we'll see. CJ, what about you?
All right, I got a lot of things, but I'll
Okay.
go quick. One, they need to reprint Hera. Like, come on now. You can't finally give like really good specters that actually the color matters and not have Hera exist, right? That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, so stupid. So cool that it's happening, though. Those cards are really nice. Two, we need tribal. I'm a tribal boy. And you could say, oh, Rebel's a tribe. No, it's not. No, it's not. They have like 2 cards that do anything with them
Give me
actually
my
being
Wookiee deck.
Rebels. Right. Like, give me like Ewoks, give me and not like Republic or Resist. I don't want factions. I want tribes. Okay. And I want them to really matter that you have a board of them, or that I think of like in Magic, right? Not to tie it always back to Magic, but there was like you had merfolk and you have goblins, and then for a while you had humans, and humans was just like, hey,
Dude, I loved humans so
humans
much.
is great because you just played every human that did something, right? It wasn't like it had so much synergy, and I would just love if we could have some deck design like that come up. I've been trying to do tribal every set that comes out, and nothing ever matters. Like, it never actually does anything. It's like, oh, we have BB-8, but like, oh, you have 1 resistance card.
Dude,
Done.
officials were so
Sick.
close.
Right,
So
officials was so
close.
close.
I
Officials were
I
close.
can't
Like,
tell you how many like droid decks I tried to build.
oh,
just
exactly.
because like
Like,
they're cool.
let us have it.
Yeah.
And then I really want to get some cards, not leaders. I want to be very specific about this. Not leaders, not bases, but cards in your deck that are the actual linchpin of your strategy, right? So I want a new actual play style to come up based on the actual cards I can put in my deck. I think of, again, like Magic, Death Shadow comes out, right? It's just a card. It's not anything special. You can only run 4 of it, but guess what? That card is so good that you build an entire deck around actually hurting yourself, right? And like make this own
Yeah.
little sub mini game to play. And I'm not saying you have to make something that powerful. I just want to be able to build a deck around powerful cards.
Yeah.
The closest we got is probably
leaders.
like TDR.
TDR.
in
I was just going to
Django.
say that.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah,
favorite card
right.
in the whole
TDR
game
can be
because
sure.
it let you build around a strategy.
Force throw a little
Exactly.
bit.
It's a
too.
strategy.
Yeah.
Force throw a little bit, but not really. Like Luke's
Not-
a good
yeah.
card. You're not building the deck around Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
Poe's a
Yeah,
good
right.
card. You're not building
Yeah.
like all these cards are good cards, and they're gonna go in your strategy, but they're
I think
not.
one of those cards that is close to that, like you see the vision, is Babu Frick, right?
Yes,
Where it's like,
exactly.
Yes. That's like
Yeah.
another
but
card I love.
you need
because of
more
droids.
cards like
You
that.
need more cards
Yeah.
like that. And aggressive negotiation is actually kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
But again,
Yep.
we don't have enough cards to actually really support it. And maybe that's a good thing. But those are the strategies like
Probably
I,
a good thing.
like I want to see. Like, I want to see a card that you read and you're like, man, that's bad. But then you're like, oh, wait a second. Actually, if I build my whole deck around this, it's amazing, right?
Mhm.
We don't need dredge in this game, but like you read a card like Aggro Loam, like for the first, or Life from
Life
Loam
from
for the first
Loam,
time,
yeah.
you're not going, oh, this card's bonkers, right? You're not like, oh, okay, this doesn't do anything. But then when you actually look at like your card pool and all the strategy you can do with it, it just unlocks something. As a deck builder and a player, those are the things I want.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
if you will have to do it in a leader, actually do it, right? Don't give me Afra and then never ever print a card that works with her. Like,
Mhm.
Or
what-
even her
Yeah.
droids, like
or
having
even
the
her
top
droid.
three.
Like,
Yeah.
don't do that.
That was
right?
like one of the biggest,
Don't
set one.
give me
misses,
Bosk
but
and then never give
year
me
one
another
misses.
bounty. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like they're so close
ugh.
with this stuff, and we can tie this back to like the low points. Although this was the first year, but it's like the whole like Afra thing was infuriating because she was
Oh
one of the first leaders that they showed, or maybe like towards the middle. And the whole time we're like, oh, I can't wait for her droids. I can't wait to see all of her support cards. And then there was just nothing.
because just Palp's return.
Yeah,
It has
there was
nothing
just
to do with her
literally
force
nothing.
users.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
like, why make this really cool and unique leader that clearly
Well,
wants to play with your discard pile
I tried
and
so hard to
do
break Afro.
nothing with
Mickey,
her?
I think Mickey already said this. It's because all they cared about was stats. When
Yeah.
they look at Afra, like, oh, you put cards in your graveyard, so she can be bigger. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly think
Yeah.
that's what they were doing when they designed.
But
They
like,
were purposefully not giving
like
you the graveyard as
you
an
nailed
actual.
it right on the head. Is that like we want actual like deck archetypes. I don't want
Mhm.
to just say to myself, okay, every good blue card, Luke, Bo-Katan, like this whole myriad of like blue
Avenger.
yeah, it's like those are going to and like every deck. And yes, you are going to naturally
You're
in
gonna
a
play the
game
good
like this
cards.
have like the good cards in every deck, but I don't want that to be the focal point of like
Mhm.
what I'm doing, right? Like I want to build my deck to like
I think an
do something.
interesting build around kind of leader is something like the new Padme leader of like, all right, the R2 and the Faith in Your Friends and the Warrior
Yeah.
of Clan Order, these cards
Mhm.
are close, and then the Padme can
Yeah,
kind of buff them up.
true. I'll go ahead, Mickey.
All right. I, while listening, wrote down some ideas because I didn't have quite as much time. But first, to dovetail off of what CJ said, I want them to design cards that like are meant to be broken instead of having to be broken. It feels like a lot of times in this game, it feels like every broken card is a mistake. Like TDR, that feels like a mistake. Force throw feels like a little bit of a mistake. DJ confirmed a mistake. Like they just didn't catch that. A lot of the broken cards feel like it slipped through the cracks instead of something like, oh, we designed this to be pushed and to be explored and to potentially be broken. And I want them to explore that design space a little bit more of just like, we know this card is good. Let's see how far it can be taken. Along similar lines, I want them to design cards that are designed to be very good, where it's not just the stats mattering. Like it's not just big guys or removing big guys. Stuff like Avenger, Luke, Anakin, all these cards are good because they have good stats and they affect your base total as well as they remove units. I want more interesting stuff like, and to tie into another point, Tyler mentioned it, that plays with the discard pile. That's one of my favorite archetypes in Magic, is like the madness and dredge style, where it's like you almost have a second hand in your discard pile. Being able to play with that and like just have it be not just about the stats, have it be like cards in hand matter or like cards in your discard matter, and just explore different options like that.
One
Last
of those
couple.
could be like the credit tokens that are coming
Yes.
out. Like
Yep.
uh I'd similarly, because Tyler had asked some of his teammates, I thought it was a good idea. I asked some of mine. George the Hulk had responded, and one of the things that he said is like he loves the fantasy of like having a bunch of credits, and he's hoping that there's like a greedy archetype where instead of using the tokens to actually push out guys early, that you're supposed to hoard them,
Yeah.
and like you have a guy that gets bigger for having more credit tokens or
Yeah,
something
it's like
like that, or like,
Jabbo.
or
Deal
if you
damage
have
equal to the number of credits you have.
or if you have
Or
3 or
card
more
that
credits,
says
this unit has Sentinel, right?
Yeah.
Like something like that, like where you can use a mechanic for like the not normal way that you're
And
supposed to use
I'd wish they had done that design space a little bit more with the Force as well. Like we saw the Jedi Sentinel and some other. I think that might. I can't think of another example, but like the 5/4/4 that has Sentinel if you have the Force.
Yeah, Jedi Guardian, I think.
Yeah, Jedi Guardian. Last couple of points. I want combo to start to exist a little bit more in some sort of fashion. It's a bit trickier to try and explore that space in just how the game system works of like my action, your action, and you don't want to completely strip the game of that because that's part of its core, but some sort of way to like, you know, fight heavier on action economy and just like take advantage of taking a million more actions than your opponent, even if they're like weaker actions. And then last point is I want their design to be a little bit less insular to the set. So like piloting, once we got piloting in set 4, we've never heard from it again. There's been nothing that really cares about piloting. Sure, there's maybe some upgrade synergies and there's obviously going to print new vehicles, but like it feels a very insular mechanic. I think bounties was the biggest example of this in set 2. Like, we got bounties and we got a leader that cared about bounties, and then we never saw bounties again, really. I want them, like, I think credits is a great example. I think like the force, you can print more force units and stuff, but like just more fluid design that can go from set to set, especially in the leader design. Like, I don't want a Bosk leader that cares about bounties. I want, if Bosk said, like, if an enemy unit has a friendly upgrade attached to it, you get to ping it, and like, so that way you can, with condemns and stuff and entrench, then you can integrate it there. So stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I mean those are all really great points. I mean, just as you were talking, I was just thinking back to all of the leaders that they've printed that like were so close to being like an archetype that they just made zero support for. And one that
Yeah.
came to mind that I thought was going to be really cool when they showed it was the hunter leader from set 2, I think it was. Maybe that was set 3.
Set 2.
Yeah, and it was like, man, this is kind of a cool thing. I can't wait to see what support they make for it. And then it's just like, it's just nothing. The actual
Wedge-
support is just like cards with the same name, and you're just like,
Yeah.
that's boring.
Wedge is another leader I think could be sick, but just like we're never getting any more pilots apparently, and so like
And
you have to hope the card pool was
yeah.
good, and they
and
said it
like
was printed.
like Afra's one. We already talked about Trench's one. Like those were
Yeah.
two
E-
closest things, like Dredge.
even
that you
like-
mentioned.
Even like the first Kylo leader.
Yeah.
We got Kylo's tie,
Yeah,
and then nothing ever again.
Exactly. Like you
Like,
you
what do
want to
we
be
get?
hell bent, and
Not
and,
one
and
single
it's
card
like,
that matters.
Hey,
again.
don't forget about Migs. All right,
Yeah.
Migs apparently combos with all Kylos.
True.
We don't know why.
But
Yeah, but I think
speaking
that's
of
accidental.
speaking of the other Kylo from Legends of the Force, it's like he was probably, in my opinion, I think he is the best design leader that we've had. Just because like it's fair, and at the same time it can be pretty broken. Right? It's the closest thing to a
Yeah.
combo that we have. I think it's just
I'd have to
very
think
well
on it, but
designed.
that's
Well, and
yeah.
it was cool that like the different aspect colors played completely differently, right?
Yeah,
like,
right. Exactly.
The blue-green version of him played so different than the Tarkentown
Yeah.
version and all that jazz. Like that's, I think that's a sign of like a really good design.
Yeah.
That when your leader paired with a different color plays completely differently.
Right. I'm not saying that he's like the best leader that we've had, but it's the most interesting to me, and
Yeah.
So one of the
our
things
best
that
design.
I'm actually hoping for this next year, and it's more of a design philosophy thing that we kind of touched upon, like philosophy type things. And one of the things that I'm hoping is that they go back and do another article similar to how they did that article, I think around a year ago, where they said, oh, we really want to, like, in year 2, we want to, like, push things into having like more combat
unit combat
oriented unit
matters,
combat
yeah.
matters. Like, I want them to go away from that personally. Not that I don't want unit combat to matter, but I want them to take a step back and see how the meta has, like, the culmination with 6 sets, what that now looks like when they pushed the last 2 sets to have that focus, and what the outcome is. Because to me, I think that's one of the problems that we have in the current meta, is that there's too much focus on like these units that have infinite value, and it's all about board control. I want more events matters type things. I want events to be good.
Yeah.
Let me
Like,
play for
just
Alex.
give me actual lightning bolt. Sorcerer's Blast is a good card. The problem is the force mechanic is not consistent enough for that card.
Well, even in
be
set
that good,
6,
right?
we had like the lightning helix thing, but it
It's
just
just
costs
so
too
overcosted.
much, though. Yeah. It's
Right.
It's like, oh, you're
I
so
mean, that card
close.
pretty awesome in limited. Like, that card won me a game or two in limited at my PQ. Like,
yeah.
that was really cool. It felt really powerful, but like obviously in limited the power level is lower, so that card shines. But I want those type of cards to, like, I want more event matters type stuff. Like, not saying like I want, don't attach mill to a card, right? So that it's a end game win con as well. Like, I
Yeah.
think that we can avoid the hard control problem if they just don't print mill, because eventually someone's gonna like stick a unit, right? Like that's just gonna happen, and then you just don't have the clock.
Or
of the
just make more units that have shroud. Like, I know that's like really maybe pushing it like a little bit to make something that can't be targeted, but you can probably at least try it and just see.
Even just like 1 or
see how
2
it
though, to
goes.
make the decks respect it, so they have to like deck build a little bit different.
Or you just have more like Adigalia effects, right? Where when they play an event, you punish them,
Yeah.
right? Like you just have more Punisher effects and allow these like event type like have a leader that synergizes with events. That hasn't
Yeah.
existed yet, I don't think.
There can be other events though that just aren't just removal. Like
Right. That's what I mean.
Faith in Your Friends, you're the yellow one that like, draw cards, make 2 spies.
Love that
That's a
card.
good event. That's not
that's
just
pretty
I
well
kill a
designed, yeah.
unit. You
Yeah.
know? Aggressive
And then you can-
negotiation, strong, but it's not just I kill a unit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There are
And
ways
it
to
can
do it.
synergize with the discard stuff too. Like if you have X amount of events in your discard, this event does even more or whatever. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Or
wish there was
have
more
have
events.
kicker,
that were
man.
good.
Bring kicker to Star
Give
Wars.
us
How
kicker.
how
Oh
cool
yeah.
how cool would that be?
We kind of have that with the flock, right?
Yeah.
Furious flock.
But yeah,
Ki-
true.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Kicker is kind of scary in this game, but
Yeah.
all right.
Well, anyway, like
I think more so like Kicker's idea, but like, I think that cards do, or we talked about it a little bit, the sets are way too insular. There needs to be at least, not like every set doesn't need a card that's like, oh, this is now the new thing going forward, it's gonna be in every single set. But like once or twice a year you get a new thing that like, oh, this is the new mechanic that you'll actually see in outside this set. Something that keeps pushing it throughout the year. Like this is the year of like these 2 cards, like they make it,
make sets in blocks, right?
Yeah.
Like, just do something like that.
How cool can Chancellor DV be? I don't know. Are they going to reprint plot again? Like
Probably
yeah,
not. I
it's-
mean, they haven't reprinted this other stuff,
Yeah,
so why would they
Yeah,
do
like
a
how
lot?
there's so many
So,
strategies that
yeah.
they like.
Like the
Tokens
way
is
they did
one that
Padme,
just wanted
I
to
think-
have
Like,
that, yeah.
just give me one smuggle card every set. Like if it makes sense,
Yeah.
put a smuggle card in there.
Or
If it makes
design the
sense, put a block card
leaders in a different way, like with how they did Padme, where it's not if you disclose, it's
Yeah.
if you reveal a card from your hand or
Right.
or discard a card. So like it doesn't have to be disclosed, but it does inherently work with the disclosed mechanic.
I do think there's got to be a flaw somewhere, because I will say, and I'm sure we've all done this, there's been a lot of cards where, and I've done this since set 1 came out, I read it and went, this isn't good yet, but I bet in a couple sets it's good. None of them have
And it's
ever
just-
turned
yeah.
out to be good. That-
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
wild, because
Yeah.
in Magic I say that all the time, and
every
Yeah.
every
4
so
sets
years
down the
later,
This game
line,
just
card
doesn't
oh,
print outside the set. Like we were
yes,
talking about
it's
earlier, that
wild.
Kylo was like the best thing. It's because his effect just says upgrade.
Upgrade.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
a card that is in every single set, so he's just
Yeah.
going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Padme, that shows like it's not just disclose, it's other cards. The
Yeah.
generic leaders
Or like
get
Cad
better,
Bane, where it's like Underworld. Like
Underworld's
Underworld
gonna get-
cards every
and the
set.
Underworld's in every
Yeah.
set. Like
Yeah, the same thing for like
Yeah.
Rebel, things like that. Yeah, I mean that's a really good point. So I know we have one more topic. I'm actually just going to save that for the episode here in a few weeks.
Yeah,
Just
3-way tie.
three-way tie, which means that I guess I'm just going to claim my second victory because
Let's go.
there's just
Tie.
no tiebreaker.
I'll donate all 30 of my points to John Tatta.
There you go. So now I have exactly.
That's
30.
not even
It's
enough
still
points,
less.
Steve.
No, you
That's
didn't
not
see the
even
hidden
enough
4
points.
points under his name.
Yeah,
They were
true.
there.
Yeah, that's true. But
And
fine,
my
he'll
ass.
sing.
He just can't even let Tyler win one. Not even when there's a room to give him.
I
the
got
win. He doesn't
one.
even-
Tyler
I'll get
has
it
his
eventually.
one.
I'll get it one eventually. We're
And-
not hoping for it.
And this is my second, so I'm going to claim it. I was probably
That
always
means
going to
I'll
claim
get
it
my
anyway.
second soon, right? That's how that works.
That's how it works. I mean, you have to
Okay.
earn it. So
Yeah.
But
Obviously,
no,
obviously.
I just want to say, like, guys, thank you all. Ian, Tyler, and CJ especially for being on here every week, every other week with me. It's been a blast. Mickey, thank you for kind of being the fourth regular here. You're just always around, and thank you guys again for your friendship. It's been a great 2 years now, I guess. This last year especially, and can't wait for Arizona and all the events coming up here in year 3 of this wonderful game. So until then, we will be back after the new year with episode 21, which is going to be our preview episode. We have some preview cards for you guys, so look for that. Until then, we will see you next time.
Woo! I love this game.
Reprint Hera.
Reprint